It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you for asking, by the way. We have a great show filled with a lot of information and some great interviews. So this is the place to be. So thank you so much for joining us. And being in the place to be, we're celebrating National Volunteer Week. And by we, I mean us here at the Splash Live Civic Center TV and the community. We're joining the community by celebrating those who give back by their time and their efforts. Specifically, our many good friends over at the West Bloomfield Parks who took some volunteers, volunteered their time at a few different locations across the community, by the way, at the Connect Senior Center. If you're watching Civic Center TV, you can see that they're spending some time there and at events all across the community and even at their home base, the headquarters at the Recreation Activity Center, volunteering their time. Now, let me tell you something. That's very important because we are all adults. We know that we all have kids and we have jobs. So that take your additional time to go work, do something else is very, very, we should support that. It's very, very important. So thank you all for the job you're doing and the time that you are spending, especially for the others of us who are just sitting back home scrolling on Facebook watching the pictures. So if you are interested yourself in volunteering with the West Bloomfield Parks, you can visit their website at wbparks.org/volunteer, or you can head over to their Facebook page, check out some of those photos from National Volunteer Week at WB Parks. Comment, like, share, show love, things of that nature. Speaking of National Volunteer Week, we're going to continue to shed light on volunteers in just a couple of weeks. The Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast. That's coming up Friday, May 10th, 7 a.m. Temple, Israel. 7 a.m. for breakfast. That makes sense, right? So make sure you're getting there. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, ticket registration is closed. But you know what? You can actually attend for free visually with us, Civic Center TV. We will be broadcasting live everywhere that you watch the Splash Live, as a matter of fact. And this year's theme celebrates volunteers make the world go around. I would have to agree with that, right? Essentially, and the purpose is to recognize individuals and organizations for their selfless service and contributions to the community, like we were just talking about. As a matter of fact, Carol Hack from the Michigan Week Committee recently joined us on the Splash Live to explain why it's important to celebrate volunteers and what is at the heart of the volunteer spirit.
People who volunteer their time to whatever their desires are should be felt valued by the community. So that's a big reason why we get together 300 people to recognize all these wonderful people that we have in this community. But that's not the real reason they volunteer. They do it because it comes from their heart, because they want to help others who are in need. It does not always have to be organized, driven. So like I said, it could be an individual child, it could be an individual adult who will come into the schools and read to the children. Rotary Club does that on a consistent basis, but the PTOs do that too. So those people can also be recognized. And it can be any idea that an individual has that he or she feels helps the greater good of another person or another organization.
Exactly. Just like Carol said, the volunteers may not do it for the purpose of the recognition and the awards, but sometimes when the recognition and awards come, they obviously, in most cases, have an impact on the volunteers, especially when that big moment comes.
When you see the faces of volunteers receive their awards, that says it all, actually. When we're on the stage or when we're some of us are, some of us aren't, but you see them walk up and receive their award, especially when they've invited their whole family. Sometimes they invite friends, they invite neighbors, but it makes no difference, young or old. Just the fact that you're recognizing this person for being the person that they are and giving back what they have in their hearts to the community.
That's right. And once again, Michigan Week Awards will be live 7 a.m. Friday, May 10th, right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. If you want to know more about what's going on with that specific event or just about Michigan Week in general, you can visit them at michiganweek.org. Once again, their website, michiganweek.org. Continuing to keep things moving and positive within the community. Mamma mia. Yeah, I go, yeah. I can't do it, but our fans, you can rejoice. Mamma Mia begins this week at West Bloomfield High School. The big show begins tonight, West Bloomfield High School Theater at 7 p.m. And they do have a few shows actually going on this weekend. I'm seeing shows Friday, 7 p.m., a matinee, Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, with an American Sign Language interpreter, by the way. So that'll be great information. And they have a finale Saturday night at 7 p.m. So we actually sent Jake Schaff from the Splash Live out at West Bloomfield High School to get inside and get more information with the cast and the crew that made their final preparations for the premiere tonight.
Some of my fondest memories have been my time in high school theater, and it's always heartwarming to see other students experiencing the same joy. And this weekend, the students at West Bloomfield High School will be premiering their much-anticipated spring musical, Mamma Mia. It's sure to be a magical night for all the students, but for some, it will also serve as a fond farewell.
It's super fun and colorful and bright and happy and joyful. I think what I love most about it is that it also tells a real story. It talks about love in all shapes and forms and heartbreak. It's very stressful. I'm definitely not sleeping, but it is very magical too. That's the word I use with my students every year. I said, this is where the magic starts happening. The costumes, the lights, the set, everything's coming together, and all of a sudden we don't feel like actors anymore. We feel like we are in this world, and this is our place where we belong, and it's our responsibility to tell this story in the most amazing way possible.
Well, my favorite part is the music aspect. The singing's my favorite part, and I got really lucky with my character. I have a couple of really, really cool songs that I really enjoy to sing. A lot of ways to, continue the story, but also just show, our musicianship and stuff like that. So it is really fun.
I've done fall plays, children's plays, musicals. Musicals are my favorite. And it's kind of just become my family, like my second home. And that doesn't mean there's not, struggle and like hard work, but it always pays off in the end. And this is probably my favorite show yet. So I'm super excited.
I'd imagine there'd also be some emotion with it, as it is your last show.
100%. Yeah, no, it's hard not to jerk a couple tears up there. Even we're just in rehearsal, so I can't imagine what that feeling of a live audience is going to bring. But it's been a pretty surreal experience to have this fun energy some of the time, but as you get into those sort of emotional numbers, you just find everything is making you super nostalgic, but also I'm super excited to show what we've been working on, so it's bittersweet.
These are my best friends, some of my colleagues in this show, and a lot of the leads that I didn't really know before this, but yeah, a lot of really cool people, and hope to keep in contact with them after the show. So.
Surprisingly, it's not as sad as you would think. I guess it's because I feel like we've created such a strong bond that it's not over. They're going to come back and visit. They're going to come back and see shows. When you create this hard work together and this level of performance art, it just lasts forever, and you don't forget the people that you did that with. So I guess I don't really feel sad. I guess I just start looking forward to the next journey in the next year. My favorite moments are when the students who say, I'll never do theater and I'll never get up on that stage, I won't ever do it. And then they take my class and their whole world changes and their whole feeling about themselves changes. That is why I do what I do. And I just think that anybody can get out of their shell and try something new. And I think that the feedback and power and love from an audience changes you. You get to be you with theater, and you get to be weird in theater, and you get to just exist and be silly and be free. And I think that everybody deserves that in their life.
Couldn't agree more. There is so much fun to be had in high school theater. All you got to do is get up and try it. Mamma Mia at West Bloomfield High School will be having performances Thursday through Saturday nights, as well as a Saturday afternoon matinee. Best of luck to all of the performers, and best of luck to the departing seniors and the exciting futures they have ahead of them. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff. Break a leg, everybody.
Thank you again, Jake, for that beautiful story that we have going on at the West Bloomfield High School. And as a matter of fact, we actually had a special moment at that rehearsal. Also, Jake received an email after filming that story that there was a promposal during the rehearsal. You actually take a look at this. It's pretty cool when you actually look back at it now, because the acting turned into reality. And as she said yes. So if you are watching on Civic Center TV, you can see it on 89.3 Lakes FM. Basically, he got down on one knee and asked her to the prom, and she said yes. So you can find out more information about the play Mamma Mia on the West Bloomfield School District's Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools on Facebook. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. Speaking of the local kids in West Bloomfield School, West Bloomfield High School, things that are going on, Kids Day is being hosted at West Bloomfield High School by the boys lacrosse team. And actually, we have a great event going on for the kids. It'll be later on this month, actually, this weekend specifically. And actually joining us to tell us more about that event, why it's going on, and the benefit of it, we have recruiting coordinator and fundraising chair for the West Bloomfield boys and girls lacrosse team, Jennifer Gulati, joining the Splash Live. Thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So Kids Day, and it's an event that's going to be hosted by the West Bloomfield High School boys and girls lacrosse team, Saturday, April 27th, open to West Bloomfield 3rd and 8th graders. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in with the rest of the information and details behind this event, Jennifer?
Well, Kids Day is an event just to get kids in the door and watch the games. But the cool thing is after the varsity game, the kids get to come down on the field and meet both the boys high school players, and there'll be some girls high school players there as well, the varsity teams. And they get to be on the athletic field and throw the ball around with high school kids. So it's really kind of fun. We've got a couple of giveaways for them. We have Maple Orthodontics has given us, or there's t-shirts coming that are supposed to be distributed to the kids. We'll see if they get there in time. But we've got some wristbands, some stickers, some other stuff. So it should be a fun time. It's free admission for the kids. And
Nice.
We'd love to have you there. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun. The boys game, the varsity starts at 12, which should run about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And the JV game starts at 10:30. So you're welcome to come to both. We'll have concessions there, some other stuff going on. So we'd love to have you. It's really fun.
Yeah, that seems very, very nice. A great event to get the youth involved with, the older kids in the community and get to see the things that they can potentially aspire to do, get motivated, get some dreams and goals. And I think this is great, a great way for them to kind of give back and be mentors in a way. So I want you to kind of explain that a little bit more, the impact on the kids in the community. Have you seen it yourself, or what do you expect for the kids to kind of leave with this event?
Well, first of all, they're going to have a good time watching a really fun game. Second of all, they get to meet high school players. And honestly, when you think about the younger kids, I've done some free kids club after school lacrosse clinics, as well as we've had some at the middle school in the evenings. And we do have the high school players come to help out. And the younger kids are always super excited to spend time with the high school kids. And it's kind of a nice thing because it is a bridge to, moving up in the grades. Either if they're elementary school, they're meeting some middle school or high school kids. It's really a nice way for the kids, the high school players, to give back to help the new kids.
Right.
And it's very, the high school kids who participate say it's very rewarding.
Nice. As it should be. You want to continuously give back to the younger generation and show them the way, the different things, and kind of teach them what you would have wanted someone to teach you at their age. You kind of see what I'm saying? So I completely understand that. And it seemed like it'll be a great thing for the kids to kind of get introduced to that sport in general overall. Can we just get into that aspect of how important it is to introduce this sport to kids? Even though, we normally see a lot more people at the football games, the basketball games, and things like that, and they usually get the most attention. Just get into why lacrosse specifically should be getting the support from the community.
Well, lacrosse is a sport. First of all, it's America's oldest sport. So they have documentation from they believe it's been since 1100 BC. It's been played. It's been documented since 1667 that French monasteries, the monks, seen it being played by Native Americans. It's also a sport that combines. It's a team sport, but it combines facets of hockey, football, soccer, even some wrestling, and then basketball. Actually, basketball was invented by a lacrosse football player because they were looking for an indoor non-contact sport to keep the kids healthy and unhurt but fit between football and lacrosse season. So a lot of the moves that you'll see on the lacrosse field are straight out basketball. It's the same moves.
Right. Exactly. So you giving me some information I didn't too much know. It being the oldest sport or one of the oldest sports ever, and being that mixture. I see the mixture of football and soccer and the different variations, basketball. I can see that. So I've never actually been to a lacrosse game. This might have to be my invitation to actually come out there and check it out for myself. But joining us right now on the Splash Live, recruiting coordinator and fundraising chair for the West Bloomfield boys and girls lacrosse team, Jennifer Gulati, joining us talking about the Kids Day that will be hosted by the West Bloomfield High School boys lacrosse team Saturday, April 27th, open to the 3rd and 8th graders of West Bloomfield specifically. Can you talk about the donations from the community and different people who contribute? Dr. Robert contributing the donation of the T-shirts and other businesses. Can you just talk about how their contributions actually make this event a success also?
So it's Maple Orthodontics. So it's Dr. Robert and Cindis Goodman's. They're supporting the event with T-shirts for everyone. And it's kind of fun. Kids always like swag, so it's kind of fun it's almost free advertising for us because a lot of kids have never even heard of lacrosse. So we're doing these free events. We've done the free clinics. We do the kids club. We're looking to have a USA lacrosse pick up and play event this November, which is free for all kids from 6 until 14 years old. And that is supported by the national governing body. And incidentally, a little more information about lacrosse. It is an actual Olympic sport now. So it had been back in 1924, 1928. Okay. And then now it's back into being an Olympic sport. There's been a World Cup that's been competing for years from countries all over the world. And in fact, I'm going to say it wrong. It's the Native American have their own nations, and they usually do pretty well because it really is their sport.
Interesting. So 1924 to 1928, and then they just stopped playing lacrosse in the Olympics. So it's been about 100 years, or just under 100 years since they stopped it, I should say, playing lacrosse in the Olympics. Is that correct?
Yep, and
Very
it's back
interesting.
now.
Very interesting. Oh, wow.
So usually the USA team and Canadian teams, as well as the Native American teams, are the top 3 teams in the world. So should be some good medals earned by the Americans.
Nice information. So let's get into that sport specifically. Now, the young kids could watch lacrosse on television. It's probably not as accessible as, like we say, basketball or football, but they could probably learn from watching online or YouTube or whatever the case may be. But what can they get from learning from the young athletes within their community at West Bloomfield High School?
Well, first of all, it's the finer points of stick handling and how to handle the ball. That's really the first thing. And then watching on TV, like the college games, you'll see them on ESPNU.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the actual gameplay of how the ball is moved around, how there's plays that are made, just like you have plays made during a basketball game, like moving the ball around and trying to get in there to score.
Yeah, right. So yeah, you can see a lot of correlation between different popular sports that you do see, and then you can kind of bring that into the full firsthand experience of seeing it with people that you'll meet and see in your own community. I could definitely see how that can be very influential and motivating for the kids. So thank you so much for your time and for explaining this. Lastly, before we go, please give more information in regards to the event, how they can find out more, and just anything else you have going on with the lacrosse teams at West Bloomfield High School.
You can look on, we have the Facebook site, the WB or West Bloomfield Boys Lacrosse Team Group. You can join that. We post things on Sokigo, West Bloomfield, the middle school sites, Shaco, the high school sites. So that's kind of more of our community thing, but we also post stuff on WB Athletics as well as the events that are going on. Our full game schedule for both the boys and girls teams are on the WB Athletics. So you want to see on a weekly basis. After this Saturday, we have 2 more home games.
Okay.
That you can come join us at. And
Okay.
then we're looking to make the playoffs. We're just not sure if we'll be the home team or we'll be away.
Okay. Let me check my calendar. I'm gonna have to figure some things out. That sounds pretty exciting. I appreciate the invitation, but overall, we want to make sure we get the entire support of the community. So thank you again, recruiting coordinator and fundraising chair for the West Bloomfield boys and girls lacrosse team, Jennifer Gulati. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak about such a great sport. It's a great sport for kids of all shapes and sizes and abilities. There's different positions on the team that everybody gets a chance to play.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And if you want to find out more about West Bloomfield High School lacrosse team and things that they have going on, check it out on their website, wbsd.org, or just go to their Facebook, West Bloomfield Schools on Facebook also. Keeping it moving, talking about kids in the West Bloomfield community, students learning and new things that they can learn about, gardening, specifically food that we consume. We actually had an opportunity to talk about kids learning about hydroponic gardening. Yeah, that's kind of new to me. I'm still kind of learning this hydroponic gardening. And we actually had recently, we have Mary Ann Iyer, Miss Mary Ann Iyer, second grade teacher at Gretchko Elementary, joining the Splash now, actually, as a matter of fact. Thank you so much. And can you just tell us about what hydroponic garden is and why you have brought this to your classroom, Miss AR?
Well, we have the opportunity here at Gretchko to show our students the process from seed to stem. So the whole process inside, that we can grow something year round inside, and we mimic what happens outside. And we basically show them that these are the herbs or the flavors that they've tasted. And for me, I have the opportunity to take 2 things that I love, cooking and teaching, and incorporate them and show them that they have healthy habits that they can do, that they can replace things, that they can try things. For example, I created a salad. And I showed them there's over 100 different varieties of lettuce, because most kids think that there's just one kind of lettuce, and then they usually say, no, thank you. And so I teach them that green is good. So that's my magic word. I say, green is good. And they repeat, green is good. And I'm like, green is good for you and me. And they say, green is good for you and me. So they understand that. So I show them the different lettuces that we've grown there, spinach, kale, all those leaves. I put them in there. So I had the opportunity to not only teach my class, but kindergarten, first and second grade at Gretchko. So we took a whole day and a half of learning, and each teacher cycled through with their students. They had an opportunity to explore communicate, collaborate. I had to do a see, think, wonder. So for example, I took a mint leaf and I said, what do you see? And then, okay, we talked first, I take that back. We talked about the process. So in kindergarten, they learn how plants grow. So we talked about seed and roots and stems and leaves. And I'm like, okay, now what's this leaf? What do you think it is? And I passed it around and they got to touch it and smell it. And I showed them that I could eat it. They're like, you ate the leaf? Oh my God.
What?
So that was basil and mint. So I told them that this mint is in your toothpaste, in your mouthwash, in your gum. What do you think it is? And then I had them turn and talk to a friend. So then I used that mint as a flavor for the salad. So I showed them that I dried the mint. And when I dry the mint, it's like the basil. I said, if you like pizza or spaghetti sauce, that's what this is. So then I made a healthy pesto. I used basil and olive oil and garlic, and I passed out the garlic. Now I used no cheese and no nuts because of dairy and food allergies. I talked about that. Even kids have food allergies. And I talked about how you can eat that. And I showed them that they could dip it in fresh baked sourdough bread. Talked about how sourdough bread was 3 ingredients, like was really healthy bread for you. So we've done so much. We've done smoothies. I've showed in the past, we've had the hydroponic garden for over 10 years. So I couldn't do this all alone.
Wow.
I had the support of my amazing principal, Jen Teal, who supported me, and our PTO. We have a great para in the building, Kelly Jacobson, who maintains all the water and the chemicals in there, because there is an art and science to that. But I have incorporated, for the second graders, we talk about producers and consumers, that farmers produce the food. Most kids think that food comes from Kroger or Costco or Myers, or Walmart.
That's true.
And I'm like, no, you can grow a garden in your backyard, and this is what you could do. And then we have even smaller gardens in second grade that we do, and we grow grass, so that it's easier to say it that way. We grow little grass because it's fast growing and they can see the process. But I have a lot to say about this. I'm very passionate about it. We've been doing it for 10 years.
I see, yeah.
It's so fun. The kids, I'm like a rock star. I walk down the hall and they're like, Mrs. Ayer, I love your cooking. It's, better than school lunch. No disrespect to our school lunch, but they're eating, like this week they tried radishes. I showed her radishes. They thought it was
wow.
They thought it was a potato. Then I had them taste it. I sliced it really thin and they taste it. And they're like, wow, this is so good. So it was just, I get so excited about it. They get so excited about it. I have parents that reach out to me that ask me, or text or email, that said, what did you put in the salad dressing? I made salad dressing with them. I took fresh lemon, olive oil, salt and pepper, please. And then I added mint. And then parents have said to me, my kid wants me to go to Kroger today to buy the ingredients to make this salad. How do I make it? Because I hold up the Italian dressing and I'm like, Mario Sudame Globi. But I said, you can't pronounce those words. Why would you eat those? I said, you can use fresh lemon, olive oil, salt, pepper, mint, and you have your dressing. So I'm American of Chaldean descent. We eat a very Mediterranean diet. So basically kind of teaching them to eat fresh. And I love garden to table. And it's just I love it. I love how excited they get. I love that at first they're like, I'm not going to eat that. It's green.
I know, right?
And then I made a smoothie with the spinach from the garden. And I used honey as opposed to sugar, and told them that when you go to this other place, they put 3 heaping teaspoons of sugar in it. I don't. I sweeten it with honey, and they loved it. And how important honey is to our bees, and how important bees are to our environment. And don't be afraid of them.
Right.
They have a job. So that's how I feel about it.
Oh, Miss AR, you did fantastic. You gave us a mouthful, so many things I can go back and speak on. The fact that you ate a mint leaf and a basil leaf right in front of them, I know they probably like, what are you doing? Like, that's for animals. But then you are teaching them, and I'm so happy you're teaching them early about this type of stuff, because they're still in the process of learning, experimenting with food and taste buds, so they can learn that this is what I want to eat, like, consistently. I don't want to eat sugar. That's bad. Miss AR told us about that. Like, we don't want that. So I love everything that you're doing with this. There's so many, we can dive deeper into this, but just join us right now, second grade teacher at Gretchko Elementary, Miss Marianne A.R. Join us talking about her second grade class, and actually K through second grade students learning about hydroponic gardening in her class right now. So what strategies are you using to possibly encourage them to take some of these skills outside of the classroom?
So I tell them that they need to eat the rainbow. Most kids' plates are one color. So there's a rainbow in our makerspace, as you noticed. And so I tell them that they have to eat the rainbow, and their plate should look like a rainbow. And we talk about how they need to eat 5 fruits and vegetables each day. So I teach them to show me 5 fruits and vegetables each day. So then I give them a high five. All right, you need to eat 5. And so I'm like, okay, how can you eat 5 a day? So we talk about how a smoothie has more than one fruit, how a salad is that. I teach them that, when you have a healthy body, you have a healthy mind. That if you want to look good and feel good, you have to eat good. So you have to you have to exercise. We go out for recess. I said, okay, so you exercise, you have to go to sleep. That's important. So we talk about all those different things. We also do a lot here at Gretchko with capturing kids' hearts. We talk about ruler and how you feel. We talk about green is good, and green is a feeling on the ruler chart. And we talk about how when we eat green, we feel green. Do you know what I mean? So lots of different ways. And then basically we tie it a lot into our social studies and sciences. We talk about how to plant, how to. We incorporate it in writing. So all my salad dressing had four ingredients. First, you do this. First, you squeeze the lemon. Next, you add the oil. Then you add the salt and pepper, and last you add the mint. So they can take that and use it when they're writing and write the recipe. So we talk about consumers and producers and how you produce the food and you consume the food and how you're paying for something.
Right.
So why don't you, if you're paying for something, you can make it yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like you can make a salad, like, and I'm not,
Ooh.
and just, it's very easy to do, and you can help out at home. So we talk about how to be, caring and kind and helpful at home and how you can do those things. So how can you help your mom? You can help her in the kitchen. You can get the groceries. You can write the grocery list. So there's so much learning that happens throughout K-1-2, in the classroom, in place-based learning, which is the maker space. So we have place-based learning. So we're learning in different places. Second grade takes a trip to Apple Island. We have that opportunity for learning. So we do so much to just kind of create, educate the whole child. So we want to teach them that this is you, you're in charge of you, you make your choices. What choices do you want to make? Advocate for yourself. Say, hey, I'd like to make this. And like literally immediately when they go back, I hear from lots of different teachers, their kids have told their parents, can we make a salad? I want to try this salad. In the years past, I've had parents come to me. I made mushrooms one year. And to this day, I have parents come up to me and say, my kid still loves those mushrooms. And I cooked them with garlic and olive oil and salt and pepper. And they ate mushrooms.
Oh,
So I love it. It's so great. I get to do two things I love and incorporate them and share that love of learning and teaching and cooking with little kids because, most kids, and I teach them say, don't say yuck to somebody else's yum. Try it. You might like it. And they mimic it back. I go, what do I say? Try it. You might like it. And then I say, when you listen, you learn by doing. So go home and do this. And, you can go teach your mom how you did this. So
absolutely. You gave a lot of great words, a lot of great knowledge. I can go back. The difference between producer, consumer, and encouraging them just to eat well and just great spirits, the mental aspect of it, the science, the art. You landed on so many great places. Thank you so much for your time. Any last parting words before we get away?
I'm just gonna say, if I love my school district, they support me beyond words. I have learned so much here, and I have the opportunity to share that learning with with little people. And I don't know. I just think that as we create our students to be the best in and for the world, it starts at elementary, and I'm passionate about elementary. And without the support of our administration and my principal, I wouldn't have the opportunity to do this. And thanks to our PTO for helping and support our hydroponic garden, because without them, we couldn't do this, and I appreciate their support and sharing my love again of teaching and cooking together and sharing that with little people is what makes my heart happy.
Absolutely. And we can see that just in your speech. Thank you again, second grade teacher from Gretchko Elementary in West Bloomfield School District, Miss Marianne A.R. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome to join. Come visit anytime.
Thank you, Miss Marianne A.R. from second grade teacher at Gretchko Elementary School. I love the lesson that she is teaching the kids. Obviously, as you can see or hear, I was very in tune with what she was talking about in regards to just teaching the kids the importance of being a producer and a consumer and not saying yuck to someone else's yum and things of that nature. Great habits for them to learn, and I'm so happy that she is leading the way with that at Gretchko Elementary with the students and the kids. So keeping things going, talking about growing, expansion, specifically here within Oakland County. At the recent Oakland County State of the County Executive Dave Coulter talked about the leaps made in just the first year since the massive transportation expansion, public transportation expansion in our local area at his State of the County address. Actually, here's a bit of what he had to say here.
The local transit providers, North Oakland and Western Oakland Transportation Systems, the Older Persons Commission, and People's Express, are showing that attractive, accessible, and affordable transit options are happening now across Oakland County. And they're seeing double-digit increases in their ridership since expanding their routes and hours this last year.
And to talk a little bit more about the expansion in public transportation, specifically in the Western Oakland County area, we have the director of WOTA, Western Oakland Transportation Authority, Kim Viner, joining the Splash Live. Thank you so much for your time, Kim.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good to be here, Kevin.
Yeah, so we have a situation which Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter just recently spoke on, the expansion of this public transportation. But can you just go ahead and continuously, from your perspective, just give a little bit more insight into what we have going on with the expansion of public transportation?
Well, so far for WOTA, we have greatly expanded. Our first quarter this year is almost double what our quarter was in the first quarter of 2023. Which shows that we're continuing to grow. It's definitely a needed service. We are working with the other providers to also build into being able to do transfers. So if you're a West Oakland resident, you won't be stuck in just West Oakland. You'll be able to get up into the north, the east, down into the south areas once we can get some transfers in place. We're working diligently with NODA and OPC and PEX to make that happen. Additionally, SMART is coming down M59 through Waterford and White Lake in the near future to bring a fixed route. So WOTA will be a catalyst in making sure that that is successful and helps to grow with that, because we're going to be the ones that are going to have to get people from their residence to the actual fixed routes. Coming down 59, there's not a lot of houses in the direct vicinity that people can actually walk to those bus stops. But WOTA will be the ones to get them there and enable them to go even further, to include outside of the county in Macomb and Wayne. Currently, WOTA does go up into Flint area because we have the Holly residents, Holly, Rose, Groveland, and it doesn't make sense to bring them an hour down into, say, Novi to go to a medical appointment when their doctors are 15 minutes away in Fenton, Grand Blanc, and up in Flint. So we're really excited about this. Last year, we did expand from 4 communities to 12.
There you go.
So pretty much every community in Oakland County has some sort of base transportation. And all the areas up here in West Oakland, North Oakland are fully covered between WOTA and NODA.
Nice. Nice. Great information to give us right there. But just from what you were saying alone, you know what I kind of concocted in my brain? This is a reflection of WODA specifically listening to the needs of the residents and then acting on those, turning those into goals and objectives of WODA and then acting on those eventually. So can you just continue to elaborate on the overall goals and objectives of WODA's transit system in general and, as it pertains to the actual expansion now and just the future goals and objectives also?
Absolutely. So, to give you a quick background, WODA was established in 2020, January of 2020. Great year to start a business.
Right.
We existed in very small community services. So in 2020, we joined with multiple communities and formed WODA that went from Waterford, Highland, White Lake, and Walled Lake. And even with the pandemic, we continued to run. We had a slight setback because of the pandemic, but by the end of 2020, we were back up into full swing and running just as full as we were when we originally started. In 2022, we provided 32,000 rides. In 2023, we provided 50,000 rides. This year, we're anticipating between 70 and 80,000 rides. We expanded our hours, so now we run 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. We run 7:30 to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Before the end of the year, we're anticipating opening up on Sundays, so we can get a lot of the churchgoers to where they need to go, get them out there on Sunday, go to church, have lunch, make a day of it, whatever. Because life doesn't end just because the service ends during the hours.
Good point.
When we used to run until 4:00, my life went on beyond 4:00, as everybody else's does. But when they don't have transportation, they can't get to all the places that they need to go. We have a lot of people now who are they're really loving the service because they can go out in the morning and they can do their medical, their grocery shopping and whatnot, and then they can also go out in the evenings and go have dinner. When Lent was going on, they could get to the fish fries. Before they couldn't do that because our service and most of the service in the areas ended between 4 and 5. So expanding that out made a big difference. Also, we have a lot more drivers. We have anywhere between 25 to 30 vehicles on the road a day. We've got a staff of 62 and 2/3 of them are full-time. So we're also putting money back into the economy through the millage by hiring people with livable wages and retirement packages, full benefits. This all makes a big difference because then we're able to hire people who are local to the area to be our drivers. So they know the area, they know the dynamics of it, they know where the potholes are, they know where the slow ups are, they know the roads that wash out in heavy rains, and they can be a lot more assertive in those situations and keep WODA going. Our plans for the future are we're going to be expanding into Sundays. In July, we're planning to kick off a pilot in White Lake, which will start on Sundays. We're currently doing a pilot in Highland for general population to see exactly how that's going to look. WODA has a philosophy that we always want to go forward. We don't want to have to go back. So if we have to take small steps going forward until we get a firm ground of where we're at, that's what we want to do so that we don't have to get people on board and then say, oh, we can't keep doing this, so we have to back it out. That would just be devastating, especially to the majority of the people that ride us, which right now we're serving elderly 55 and up, adult disabled 18 and up, low income, and veterans of any age or status. And like I said, we're opening up in Highland to serve the general public. As we start getting numbers and figuring out how many more vehicles we're going to need on the road, how much more that's going to entail from us, then we'll start opening up to other communities.
Perfect.
Serving a population of 200,000, it doesn't make sense to just open everything up and throw it out there
Right.
without having some data first.
Correct.
And I really appreciate the way that the county did this they had the millage, but they allowed us as the providers to determine how to go forward. They didn't come out and say, everybody's going to do it this way, because you can't. I mean, Oakland County is so diverse. You have total suburbia and cities down in the southeast.
Right.
And up here in the northeast, you have rural. You have miles upon miles before you get to a person. I like to refer to it as, up here in our area, you go 10 miles to pick up one person. Down in the cities, you go 1 mile and you pick up 10 people.
10 people.
And
That's a good one.
it doesn't make that one person up here any less important.
Correct.
It actually
Good
makes
point.
them more important, because they don't have sidewalks. They can't go a mile and get someplace. Up here, 10 miles doesn't even get them places
Right.
often.
Right.
And that's why we take, the northern part up out of the county and into Genesee, so that we're taking them the shortest distance, and we're taking them to what they're familiar. I know myself, when I had to change doctors from moving, it's horrible to try and find a new doctor when you've been with one for many, many years. You just want to stay with that because that's where you feel comfortable. And, there's not a lot between Holly and getting south of Highland. So, but there's a lot of mileage.
Correct. No, you covered a lot of bases and a lot of ground with that, and you basically just answered a lot of the questions that I already had, Kim. So I appreciate you for joining us. Just lastly, very quickly, for our listeners and viewers who are watching and learning about WOTA for the first time, how can they find out a little bit more information?
So you can call 248-887-4979, or you can go on to our website, which is ridewota.org. You can register on ridewota.org. You can fill out an employment application if you're interested in driving for WOTA. We're always looking for drivers, especially now we're looking for nighttime and weekend drivers. We have to have those drivers to be able to expand. They are, they're the backbone of WOTA. And they're the ones who get the job done.
That's correct.
They're our first line of, they're our front runners. So, and we're very particular on the kind of drivers we hire. We want to make sure that they're safe and that all of our riders feel secure and feel comfortable with them. And, we're open to asking questions and filling out any of the information. If anybody needs any assistance, we can provide that as well.
Thank you again, Kim. And great. And just like you said, very particular about your drivers, as you should be. And it's a way to give back to the community as you hire them. Thank you again, Director of WOTA. We have Kim Viner on the Splash Live. We appreciate your time, Kim.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So much information, so much to get into and to spread, information to spread. And we love talking about information and opportunities when it comes to jobs and careers. So continue to stay right here. We are live, we are local, we are social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Orchard Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. It's that time of year, Lakers. Gather around to honor our community's volunteers at the 52nd Annual Michigan Week Awards. Watch as these local all-stars are honored for their leadership, dedication, and passion to their community. To register, go to MichiganWeek.org or catch the live broadcast May 10th at 7 a.m. on CivicCenterTV.com or on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, and social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you so much for joining us. We love to celebrate the diversity of the greater West Bloomfield area and community and how we have different cultures that mesh together. And speaking of different cultures, we actually have a culture that will be celebrating a different event, celebrating Constitution Day, recalling the signing of Europe's first constitution in 1791. And I'm hoping I got that right, but that's why we have an expert joining us right now to talk a little bit more about their 5K run and walk event. It's the assistant to the Polish Institute of Culture and Research Director and Media Center Associate, Mietek Oniskiewicz, joining the Splash Live. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin. And your pronunciation was great. You must be Polish, probably.
I so gladly appreciate that. My producers know I want to make sure I pronounce everyone's name correct. So
perfect.
We have a great, interesting event going on right now. We have the 5K, or excuse me, Vivat 3 Maya 5K run walk. Yeah. I don't even know if I said that right. That's happening May 4th, Orchard Lake Schools campus. Give a little bit more information, please.
Okay, this is the name, Vivat 3 Maja, which means the long life for 3rd of May. The 3rd of May, it was a very special, unique, patriotic event. Many years ago, as you correctly said, in 1791, it was the first European constitution signed in Europe, second in the world. But if we are very carefully look and extend the American Constitution together with the Bill of Rights, which was finally ratified on December 15th in 1791, and actually would be year after Polish Constitution. And it is very important feast for Polish people. Because it gave some kind of hopes for independence at that particular time. Poland was devoured by different nations, especially Russia and Prussia during this particular time. Unfortunately, it was not very successful because 3 years later, we know that Poland was completely partitioned by those countries. Therefore, reviving still today, gives us a great opportunity to think what is the most important for particular nation.
There you go. There you go. Great context too behind the great event and a Constitution Day, which will be celebrated, which is technically May 3rd, like you say, but it will be celebrated during this event on May 4th. So from this event, May 4th, what can participants expect from this race event?
This will be mostly a run. We will start with the run for 5 miles. Some people, of course, could take a walk. And because it will be like you could see behind me, little tour, what will happen. It was about 1 mile. Therefore, they will go around 3 times. And if anybody is too tired, they could always, to make it shorter if somebody doesn't have enough strength to walk through or to run. And then we'll be a little bit social after. Of course, we'll start with some kind of patriotic moments. Will be probably national anthem during this particular time. There will be a couple of cultural events during this time. I know that Wawel, this is like a national dancing group, also will be present over there.
Okay.
And it's mostly socialization, because next day also will be some other events happen in church. Also at Orchard Lake will be some kind of little academy, which will be some kind of presentation of poetries and some other stuff.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And for our people who may not be watching, who are listening on 89.3 Lakes FM, we have some great visuals of the map and the route, which we will get into also. But joining us right now is the assistant to the Polish Institute of Culture and Research and Media Center Associate, Mietek Oniskiewicz joining us on the Splash Live, talking about their upcoming event, the 5K Run Walk, happening May 4th at Orchard Lake Schools campus. So looking at this route right here, if looking at the visuals on Civic Center TV, this is kind of interesting route. It's not just a circle around the track like I anticipated. Can you just give a little bit more details into the logistics of this route?
Yeah, I see. We actually first plan was to run around the campus. Campus itself is much bigger and would be probably about 2 miles. Unfortunately, or fortunately in this case, we had some other events happen at that particular morning. There will be some kind of rowing on the lake. And therefore, the southern part of Orchard Lake campus will be closed for that particular event. Therefore, we had to move a little bit north, which, if you see on the map, closer to this sport arena over there. And it's quite nice area over there. Will be a completely independent, will be quite safe area for everybody. And what to say? I think, first of all, this is the first such a run.
Right.
Our intention was also to turn a little bit to younger generations, because they are probably more focused on that particular activities. Very often, so far before, we had some celebrations in church and in some kind of academy when people were sitting doing nothing. This time we tried to start maybe something active. I hope it will be continued in the future years. If it's very successful, I hope it will.
Right. And that's why we do our job here at the Splash Live. Get the word out to the community. That's why we are live, local, and literally social. On social media, we want people to share the content and spread that information. There's a lot of people that like to get out there in the community, walk, run, and support the different cultures that we have in the community. Lastly, while I do have you here, Miatek, I just want to talk about the registration process for anyone watching, listening, interested in participating. How does the registration process work, and what is included with the registration fee?
Yeah, and the registration fee is $20. You could register on polishweekly.com. This was the title of our newspaper, which we normally have. Yeah, you probably have already this address. Unfortunately, I mean, we only mostly cover just the T-shirts and some other really necessary elements of this particular run. Still, we could accept some registration. So far, yesterday I checked, it was 96 probably people registered. Therefore, we still have 1 week to register, and I hope we'll have more people for this event.
Nice. Very interesting. Thank you for providing all of that information, the details, and thank you for letting me know that I pronounced your name correct. That means so much to me. Any last or parting words for the community before we leave?
Once again, everybody is welcome to participate, not only Polish people. This is, I think, event which we have a lot of people who are not actually purely Polish, and just have a nice, good time over here to share friendship and this very, very important day for not only for Poland, but I think right now focusing on Constitution, when so often Constitution is put aside in any country, including the United States, when we see some politician breaking some Constitution. Probably it's very important to remind us about those values which were behind such important documents in the world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Joining us on the Splash Live, assistant to the Polish Institute of Culture and Research and Media Center associate Miatek Oniskiewicz joining us. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Make sure you watch that on Civic Center TV also. Some of the most interesting visuals a guest have ever brought here on the Splash Live. And very, very quickly, as we remind you about opportunities in the community, we just want to let you know that the West Bloomfield Police Department is hiring officers. They're looking for officers with a pay up to $92,803. Woo! That is based on experience and skill set, by the way. They have newly renovated facilities. They have pension, Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO insurance, paid vacation, holidays, sick time, personal personal days. Everything you want from a full-time career right there at West Bloomfield Police Department. Special training opportunities are also there. The deadline is coming up, so make sure you apply for that and check out more, wbtownship.org/jobs. Check out their Facebook, West Bloomfield PD. So much more information for us to share. That's why you stay right here on the Splash Live. And we thank you so much for watching and sharing time with us. We have so much more to share. I am Kevin McIntosh, your host. We are live, local, and social on the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.